Welcome to Dave Talks Some More, the podcast at the intersection of humor and, Hey, I'm your host, Dave, and together we'll explore a riveting world of mundane topics with unparalleled indifference. So get ready for a riveting journey through,
whatever.
This is Dave Talks Some More.
Good afternoon, Dave.
And welcome to a podcast unlike any other. We're watching the Masters on Palm Sunday afternoon.
You need to be extremely quiet because the golfers in Augusta may actually hear you. It is one of my pet peeves to listen to Jim Nantz. I have to actually turn the volume off because his voice just sends me into orbit. I cannot listen to him.
He just keeps talking like he's on something, like he just took something.
That is the most majestic 7-iron shot you'll ever see. Really? The most majestic shot.
He's in love.
It's a shining moment of his spectacular, wonderful, brilliant career. It's just unbelievable.
Do you think that's what he talks and how he talks to his wife?
I mean, she should slap him if he does.
I don't know. I mean, it might be it might be really a thrill for her. So anyway, we have a tradition unlike any other on this podcast.
Unlike no other.
Except we haven't excluded black people and women for 75 years. Other than that, we don't talk about that part of our tradition. Or the mud ball. We can't talk about the mud balls either.
Well, you're just talking about the golf course. But
right.
does Augusta, they now have black members, don't they?
Do they?
I don't know.
Wow. When did that happen?
I don't know.
Like within the last 5 years. And I'm glad they're catching up. That's awesome.
I don't think they have any women.
Well, don't push things, Sean.
Well, we can see right there on the monitor that's live streaming the Masters.
Women having rights.
Oh, we've got.
That's what
we're
talking about.
Thank you.
Good times. This is supposed to be like relaxing or entertaining, but I find there's only two ways to watch the Masters. One is to want the guy to make the shot, in which case it's nerve-wracking, or the other way is to watch it the way that I've watched it, which is I hope everybody misses. And so when, like Rose missed a 1-foot putt, and Chambers missed a like a 6-inch putt, you can scream with laughter if you want to watch it with that mindset. But if you were sitting there going, God, I hope he makes that putt, it is 3 nerve-wracking hours waiting for your guy to do what he do.
I had to quit playing golf because of my back about 11 or 12 years ago. And I loved it. It was my dad's favorite thing to play, and he played, 5 days a week easily for 60-something years at least.
Wow.
Dad was a great, great golfer for many, many, many years. Even into, he hit a hole-in-one just 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh.
I think it was like his 7th or 8th. But I've loved golf, grown up watching golf, playing golf. And I've never been one of those guys that really pulls for the guy to do terribly. And I have some golfers that I don't like.
You're missing out on the fun.
No, I have thoroughly enjoyed watching Tigers run over the years.
Sure.
As a matter of fact, I was just telling someone on my way over here, I was driving, that when you see something like what's been happening today with Rory, where he's just completely collapsing, it's this mental, pressure that affects him, and he has no ability to, get past or break through that mental stress that's causing him to have this colossal breakdown. And it doesn't matter whether you're the world's #1 golfer, which he is, or you're someone like me. Golf is such a mental game, and the stress can affect you no matter what.
Well, the the two things about golf that really poisoned me on it is when I first took it up, I only took it up for a minute. And I realized it's going to take many, many, many hours of failure before I get kind of halfway okay. And do I want to go through all those hours of failure to get to mere mediocrity? And then the other thing that I realized is it's just a completely unforgiving game. Like in baseball, you can throw a bad pitch, and as long as the guy doesn't hit a hit, then at worst it's a ball, big deal. And, as soon as that at-bat is over, it doesn't matter that you threw a bad pitch. But in golf, if you had a bad, like in the Masters, if you had a bad swing on Thursday, that bullet weighs you down for the entire 4 days.
If you let it mentally.
No. I'm saying on your scorecard.
Oh, well, sure.
That bullet weighs you down the entire time. In tennis, if you lose a point, it doesn't matter because you can come back and win the game, and losing the point doesn't matter.
In the pros, you do have 4 rounds that you're playing in a tournament. So just the concept of that means that it'll all even out for all the other players. So you can have a bad shot here or there. That's going to happen. But to have what Rory is happening, to have what is happening to Rory today, that's epic. That's epic breakdown right there. Like I was telling you before the show started, that reminds me of Greg Norman in '96 when he on the back nine had this same type of colossal meltdown. And I've just never seen a golfer, when they're having that kind of breakdown, somehow will themselves back to victory. It's just like, because I've played before where I've gotten pissed, and you want to slam your club or break it and you're cussing. It's like you have lost the ability to remain calm, forget about the last shot, forget about what just happened. And honestly, whether you like Tiger Woods or not, when you compare or you think about these kind of events, it goes to show you truly how great Tiger was. Yes, Tiger has all these Masters, second most to Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicklaus, not Jack Nicholson. But I think when Tiger had maybe his 12th or 13th major win at this point in his career, which I think right now he sits at 14. I don't think he has 15. But Tiger had never lost the lead on a Sunday, including all of his 12 or 13 major wins at the time, which is an astounding feat in and of itself, because that's what you're seeing. All these, not Greg Norman, but Rory McIlroy is the best golfer in the game, and he is just, he's blowing it, and he's blown it before.
I'm predicting he's going to pull it out and he's going to win it, but we shall see. So many things have happened since, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I lose track. We just kind of got so sidetracked last week that we didn't have any show at all. And I'll just throw things out at you of things that happened, but I have to start off with the biggest thing that people were talking about a week ago, just 1 week ago, was what's going to happen on the stock market on Monday. It's going to be another Black Monday because
that's what Jim Cramer said.
Yeah, because the tariffs are going to be raining down. It wasn't just Jim Cramer saying it, but a lot of people were saying, what in the world is going to happen? And it rode on Monday, it rode all the way down to the low, I'm using air quotes, the low of December of 2023. You remember how bad December 2023 was? No, nobody else does either, because it wasn't that bad. But, oh my God, people take a little hit on their 401ks or a little hit on stock values, and it's like the world ends. And then it bounces back on Tuesday, and then Wednesday he announces that we're going to take a 90-day pause for some countries and not so much on others. And immediately the Wall Street Journal and every other mainstream media is crowing about Trump blink, Trump back down, MAGA takes a hit, the whole bit. And it's just been really, just entertaining. If I can step away from how it personally affects me and my country and just watch it for the sake of watching it, it's entertaining to see the mask ripped off of people who just want this guy to fail no matter what, or the man is certifiable and he's crazy and the world's finally taken enough of his crap, depending on which narrative you want to grab.
Well, so let me ask you this: do you even believe that there's a remote possibility that we may actually get some of these countries to get rid of the tariffs that they've had on us, to open up trade, and that that the purpose of these tariffs, or one of the stated purposes of these tariffs, is actually achieved?
Well,
I think there is still a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, you're asking a lot of questions. There will be some countries that will negotiate a better deal for the U.S. as far as tariffs goes. Yes. You didn't ask, but what do I think about the approach that was taking, where I'm going to take on the whole world at the same time?
That was kind of stupid.
I'm not sure how that was expected to work. And God Almighty, am I really going to quote Pierre Trudeau, of all people, who's an awful person? I mean, he is. The former Prime Minister of Canada is just a awful, awful tyrant. But he says, when the United States is friends with Russia and enemies with Canada, there's something kind of going wrong. And
I don't know that we're friends with Russia. That's the narrative that Democrats want to put out there. We have a better relationship with Russia than we did with Biden, but it's not bad to have a decent relationship with the world's second greatest power behind us, right? I mean, you should have somewhat of a good
to the point that we appear to
them.
be taking Russia's side against Ukraine, which is a really fraught that's a whole separate conversation from the tariffs.
I disagree that we're taking Russia's side on that, and we've talked about the fact that the Ukrainian war is very similar, haven't we, to the Korean War, right?
No, we have not had that conversation.
We hadn't had that conversation here? Well, have you, I mean, you are familiar with the...
I'm not even familiar with the idea.
So there's been some op-eds that I've read that basically talk about the Korean War and how almost identically comparable the two wars are. Because here in Korea, you had this invasion into Korea, and so essentially...
What? An invasion into Korea?
Yeah, I mean, well, the revolution in Korea, between North and South Korea. You don't remember the Korean War?
I'm real familiar with the Korean War.
Okay, before there was North Korea, which is this evil empire, that's what the whole Korean War was based upon. And at the time when it happened, the UN was in early life, if you will, of its creation. And the United States was called upon to go defend them. Okay, so we go, and we start defending them. And, hundreds of thousands of people are killed. A 3-year war goes forward, and the country is at a stalemate. You have a dividing line between North and South Korea. The war is going nowhere, and the only path forward is just more death. And so what happens at that point? Well, a truce is negotiated and the war is over. The individual that wanted to continue to fight, coincidentally, was McCarthy. And so all of the
MacArthur. Douglas MacArthur.
No. McCarthyism, you remember him?
Joe McCarthy wanted to continue that war.
Yes, because he believed that fighting in that war was a fight against communism. He wanted to fight against Russia and everything that communism, represented. So the rest of the United States was like, I'm tired of sending our money and our troops over there. We were the only country, the main country that was supporting South Korea during that campaign. Well, so what happens? Well, sure, it's terrible that Korea has lost half of their country. It's horrible. It's a travesty. But the truce was settled. The war was over. The loss of lives ended. And still to this day, 60 years later, there's still a North and South Korea. Well, now, when you compare that to Ukraine, you have the same exact situation. You have evil communism in Russia coming in here, and they're taking parts of, wonderful, peace-loving Ukraine, and they've lost this land. It's such a travesty of, justice and, righteousness and all this kind of stuff. Well, and so everybody wants the United States to go over there. Well, we're not sending men, but we're sending hundreds of millions of dollars over there to support it. Well, here we are 3 years later, not half the country, but a good portion of the country is now in the hands of Russia. And so what do? Well, all these Democrats that are supporting Ukraine, they want us to continue to go forward. All the people in Hollywood, which I think is ironic when you consider what McCarthy represented to Hollywood 60 years ago, right? The blacklist and all of that. Well, so the people in Hollywood, they want to continue to fight on against communism now. They want to fight against Russia. And so they don't want us to settle. They don't want us to resolve this conflict. They believe that it's so terrible that Ukraine has lost all of this ground that we should continue the fight until they get all of their land back. Well, or you could just let them lose the land and say, you know what? We spent enough killing, let's end the war. Because ending the war is a benefit to the entire world. I mean, can't we agree on that? I think it is. I mean, does the end of the war have to be with Ukraine getting 100% of their land back?
And what happens when Russia regains its strength, rebuilds its army, and is ready for round two?
So we're in a Cold War? But here's the thing. And so to answer your question.
I'm asking.
But to answer your question.
What's the answer to that?
So I didn't realize this. I did my homework after I started realizing what was really truly going on there. For almost 20 years, Putin kept telling every United States president, if you allow Ukraine to join the NATO, I'm going in. And so Obama, it started with Clinton, Obama, Bush. None of these presidents were like, oh, they all kept telling Putin, we're never going to let that happen until Biden. And Biden was the first president in over 20-something years that finally said, you know what? I'm not going to bow down to Putin. And he said, okay, we're going to allow Ukraine to join the NATO, and look at what Putin does. Putin did exactly what he told the United States he was going to do for 20-something years, which is, if you allow NATO to continue to infringe on us, I'm going to attack. So it's not like, all of a sudden, Putin did something that no one expected. He threatened this for over 20-something years. And for people to say that Trump is the only one that's bowing down to Putin, well, what was Bill Clinton doing? What was Obama doing? These were other Democrat presidents that were doing the same thing that Trump is doing, which is saying, you know what? Ukraine shouldn't be a part of NATO.
I think your historical facts are so far from what actually happened.
Well, then correct me. Let's talk about it.
So the Korean, oh God, this is going to turn into a really tedious podcast because it's.
Well, we don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
Dave talks about history. Yeah, let's not. It's just there's so many corrections. It's just going to turn into a Dave's history podcast. Maybe we will.
Look, I can stand to be corrected. It's not about. I know. I have no problem being corrected on my facts.
Well, maybe we'll have a separate podcast just to talk about that. I had actually thought to do about a separate podcast, talking about the news, just about the Europe is Lost podcast. In fact, when you weren't able to come last week, I thought I may just pull all that together and just do a 1 hour Europe is Lost podcast. And it turned out to be so much information to pull together. I decided I was not going to do my research as would have been required. And I decided, you know what, I'm just going to sleep in on Sunday afternoon. But so many things have happened. I'll move off of that. The Tesla terrorism, which really took me by surprise, and I don't know why it did.
It makes no sense to me. Does it? I mean, is that what you're?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me if you understand the violence of the left. Of we can do whatever we want to do, and nobody's ever going to impose consequences on us. Kind of a kind of related story is the feds are talking about putting Columbia University under a consent decree because you remember last summer when they were having all of the protests, and I mean they were hounding Jewish students. I mean just hounding them, terrorizing them. And Columbia was at the top of the list of people that were just absolutely terrorizing them. And now Columbia wants to say, oh, we're sorry, we'll try to do better. And some people in the administration are saying, no, that's not going to be good enough. We're going to put you under a consent decree, just like, you know, states will get put under a consent decree where a federal judge is going to oversee their prison system, that kind of consent decree. Columbia get put under a judge overseeing, do y'all really take care of all of your students or just your left-leaning students? Your anti-Semites you're okay with, but Jews you're not okay with. But for the most part, the left gets to engage in, you know, the protests, the violence. You know, the other thing that happened, you know, let's not forget last summer, all the student protests, you know, the people marching in the streets, and how many people got prosecuted? To my knowledge, none. You know, you've got people looting in San Francisco, nothing happened. What was that sanctuary city, whatever that got set up in downtown Seattle a couple of years ago? You remember that, where there was no police and they were, you know, people were getting beat up and raped, and a couple got killed, and nothing happened. It's just this attitude of we can do what we want to do, and we will have no consequences. And so I kind of tie well, now we don't like Elon Musk, so this is how we're going to retaliate. Is you're going to think twice about buying a Tesla because we're going to tear up your car for you. How you like them apples?
I took a picture. I sent it to our little group. I did not send it to our group text, but I almost did. It was this guy driving the higher end, you know, Tesla sedan. The other day I was going through the roundabout, and his sticker had, "Please do not do anything to my car. I purchased this pre-Trump."
I didn't know. I was one of you. I still am one of you. When buying a Tesla was a political statement about saving the planet, and now it's turned into I'm MAGA. But how can that be? It's actually a fair point.
It's so silly to me. I mean, first of all, Tesla makes a great car. I mean, let's not forget that. In terms of, you know, not just the battery aspect of it, but I mean, they make a car that doesn't have to be repaired much. I mean, it's an extremely reliable car. It's got great safety features all the way around. I mean, the car is a great car, no question about it. And so I just think the whole thing is stupid. Like going and keying somebody's car, what is that actually doing? Are you going to make that person who owns the Tesla, assuming that they're not a liberal, are you going to make that person stop supporting Donald Trump? it's
Well, no.
mind-boggling to
No,
me.
what it is, in any individual act of it is not accomplishing anything. But I think that the idea is, if lots of people get their cars keyed, it will make potential buyers think twice about buying a Tesla. It will make the stock price fall. It is a attack on Musk, and I think that's what the idea is. You know, speaking of bumper stickers, I had kind of a moment of clarity as I was driving in the left-hand lane, trying to get around somebody for the nth time, and I thought, you know, if only Sean was here. By the way, that is the picture that you sent. The picture.
Hold
that
on,
you
hold
did
on, hold
send
on,
to
hold
the
on.
group. What?
Since you mentioned something like that, it just so happens.
We're going to put the picture up.
No.
Oh, your
no.
picture. Yeah.
It just so happens, ladies and gentlemen.
You could see that the other lanes were empty.
Oh, what do we get? Okay, we got is this a bumper sticker?
If I passed you on the right, you're an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to put that in the rear view.
And you think it's white, but when you put it on your windshield or on the back, it's
on your back window. If I passed you on the right, you're an idiot. Yeah, that'll work.
You got to put it on the driver's side back window.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, perfect. Well, thank you.
That's absolutely brilliant.
You can't really
thank
see
you
it
for
because
that.
it's all white.
But that's what it says.
Yes.
If I passed you on the right, you're an idiot. Police love that.
I noticed you didn't buy one for Dabs.
I do, but I haven't decided if I want to keep it or if I want to give it to Dad.
I don't think there's much chance that Dabs is going to be passing people on the right. But you had sent in a picture to, just the group. You want to describe it or shall I?
You can describe it.
It was so good. There you are in the left-hand lane going, it looked like I-55 South, going 62 miles an hour. And we can see that your speedometer is 62 miles an hour. And there in front of us is a car. It's not a Honda Pilot, I'm sorry to say, but it does have the Rankin County tags. It was just, there it is. I proved my point. Once again, I can do this all day. I can send these pictures to you all day long.
Camped out in the left lane. And of course, the best part was that the center lane was completely empty.
No.
There's nobody there.
No. Well, that's for you. I mean, look, man, this guy was chilling on Yacht Rock or, or the Billy Joel channel or, whatever. And, hey, man, don't harsh his high. You can go around him. I don't care, bro.
This aggression will not stand, man. I watched that last night, by the way.
Oh, that's so satisfying.
It is so great.
The other thing that I noticed besides the Rankin County tags of "you're driving me crazy" is 20 bumper sticker guy, actually 20 bumper sticker lady who, I'm not satisfied until I find the coexist bumper sticker, which I know is going to be on there.
You're starting to subscribe to my belief that if you have 20 stickers or more on your vehicle, you've got a few screws loose in your head.
Many screws loose.
I mean, something is wrong if you have to have that many stickers on your car.
But also you can roll a tight joint. I think by the time you get to 20, you can roll tight ganja. I mean, it's your medical marijuana card is in full standing. It's fantastic. One of the things that I thought I would go into, because it went over so well, about the being a man episode. I got a lot of feedback on that.
It was a good episode of ours.
I got a lot of feedback about how I knew I was in Mississippi, and I forgot this story. I got to tell this story about the way Mississippians are different, because we had talked about how Mississippians love to complain about officiating, and I got to tell this story because my daughter said you've got to tell it. She and I used to go to the LSU Mississippi State game every year. I checked her out of school, and that was just, that was just our thing, and it didn't matter if it was at LSU or in Starkville. We were going to the game, and when she was in, I'm going to say junior high school, I don't remember exactly when it was. LSU had a really good team, and State had just not a good team. And the game was in Starkville, and you know that, I don't know how often you've gone to Starkville.
To watch a football game?
For any purpose. It's a long tedious drive because there's absolutely nothing to look at.
Now, which way do you go? 25 or do you go Winona?
No,
82.
Going up 25. And you go up 25 and you finally hit Louisville, which I've learned that's how you pronounce it. And then you hook a right and you're on whatever other highway it is. And you finally get to this big gas station that's like, this place must make a lot of money because it's the first sign of civilization after just driving through the endless Mississippi corridor of trees, right? So we get to the game, and this was the game. Mississippi State fans will remember it, unfortunately, as a game where LSU got, are you ready?
Hold on. You realize he's chipping out of the sand trap. Rory is on 18 with a one-shot lead.
Yeah.
We'll see. Looks like a pretty good shot right there. Gives him, what, about a 4-foot putt?
Rory McIlroy has a 4-foot putt
to win
for the championship. This will be his 15th year at the Masters.
All right, well, keep with the story while we're letting him set up to see if he chokes. I think he's gonna. I'm pulling for him to win and pull it out. All right, so you're passing this gas station.
So he passed this gas station. We go to the game. It's a day game. It's like the JP game, the 11:30 in the morning game that we used
Jefferson
to
Pilot.
Yeah. So we go to the game, and God bless Mississippi State. They threw 6 interceptions, and LSU returned 3 of them for a touchdown.
Nice.
Okay. And it's just, look, it happens to the best of us, and I'm not trying to crow about Mississippi State, but I'm telling you that story so that I can say, on the way back, we stop at that gas station to fill up, and there's Bully the Mississippi State fan in his camo, and he's got Bulldog stuff just dripping all of him, and he's just screaming. He's just so mad, and he's yelling at his kids, and he's yelling at the cashier, and he hadn't stopped since he got out of the stadium, apparently. And he's talking about how the SEC's just not going to let Mississippi State win a game. And I'm sitting there, in my purple and gold, and I'm going,
I'm sure the sight
I'm
sure the sight of you made him elevate his voice.
Yeah, he was so happy to see me. And, I didn't say anything to him. I didn't engage, but I'm like, dude, 6 interceptions, and you're going to complain about officiating. And this is early in my career it's just how people do, complaining about the officiating. But there it was. And it was just, okay, well, I guess that's how we're going to roll.
That's typical. I'm not shocked by that. I'm sure that day, I don't remember when it was, obviously, but because I wasn't there, but I'm sure as an Ole Miss fan, I was very happy and giddy.
Well, it's like I've been at Rebels, so Vaught Hemingway, and I've heard you people.
You people? Who you calling you people?
I've heard you people.
Wait, that's Bryson.
Okay. Yeah, you people screaming down a wide receiver for dropping a pass like he wanted to. Like he decided, you know what? I don't care about catching that pass at all. Just screaming him down. I'm like, what do you want from the kid?
Are you telling me you've
best?
never been in Tiger Stadium and listened to LSU fans doing the same kind of crap?
Oh,
come on.
Yeah, but they're cussing about anything and everything. I mean, they're cussing about the people that are sitting 2 rows in front of them.
Okay.
I mean, it's a violent people.
It's a violent people.
I mean, they're pouring bourbon on
here
anybody.
We go. You want to set it up, Dave?
This is okay.
Get your voice.
Rory McIlroy for the win. He needs to make a putt. It's a 4-foot putt. He's set up. There's the stroke. There's the shot.
And
he missed it. He missed it.
Missed it just left.
Oh.
I mean, he just walked up there. He didn't even waste any time.
He just yipped the hell out of it. I mean, it just slid right past. So
now there's going to be a playoff.
Is this his
playoff?
There's his bogey putt. If he misses this, all right. So now they got to do a playoff with Rose, who was winning to start the
Rose was not winning today.
Rose started yesterday as a 2-stroke leader.
No.
Wow.
McElroy was a 2-stroke leader yesterday.
No, not at the start of yesterday.
No,
Rose,
Rory went down this morning, right out of the gate.
I'm talking about Saturday morning. Rose was winning.
Oh, well,
the
this
tournament.
morning Rose was not
Okay,
winning.
that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Saturday. Today's Sunday, Sean.
Gotcha. All right. Okay.
No, Rose. It's entertaining because Rose had a 2-stroke lead Saturday morning. Totally blew up Saturday, and then today just slowly walked his way back to be tied for the lead, and they go into a playoff.
My daughter's favorite, Sydney, who's been a guest on our show, her favorite golfer is Rory. Sydney never played a round of golf. She never even hit a golf ball except for maybe at Top Golf. She watches sports shows on Netflix, like the F1 show or what's the pro golf show on Netflix. It's like
Is there one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's something swing. I forget what it is, but they follow like 4 or 5 golfers every year, kind of a top golfer and then kind of a unknown golfer and then kind of a middle range golfer. And so you get to know them. It's behind the scenes, all this. And so Sydney a couple of years ago was watching it and fell in love with Rory McIlroy. So I've been giving her crap today. I've actually been pulling for Rory, but I'm sure when he missed that putt, she was likely screaming at the top of her lungs.
Well, I mean, they've got all these shows now where, like, another one that's on Netflix, I think, is where you follow the Red Sox for a season. I think HBO has had their Hard Knocks deal where you follow a NFL team
during preseason.
During the preseason,
which is actually a really good. I mean, that's always been very good and entertaining.
That's entertaining. There was Last Chance U, where you followed the crappy guys.
I couldn't get into that.
I don't know. And then there was another one for the Los Angeles high school basketball kids that were trying to get into the AAU team.
Now, you're not a cyclist, but they do have one that follows the professional cyclist, and it's great because it chronicles certain
oh my God, how
bike riders.
Is there a more boring sport than cycling?
All
they do is
you don't have Show Killer
thing.
Here to team up against me. I mean,
all they do is literally it's the same mechanical motion for 3 hours.
No.
Yes, it is.
That.
Yes, no, that's literally. Oh, okay. Sometimes they stand up and they pedal from a standing position, but then they sit back down again and they hunch over.
You're not just in a battle with your competitors. You're in a battle with yourself.
Well, I'm talking about you're watching TV. You're not there, Sean. I mean, you're not on the bike.
Well, golf is the same motion repetitively.
That's
over
why
and
watching
over.
golf is boring as hell, unless it's something like this where it's so pretty. And I have to admit, I mean, look at it. It's the azaleas and
11 sudden death
greens.
playoffs
I mean,
since
my God, it's
1979.
just gorgeous. But most of these process.
Look at there. Look, the last one was in 2013, and Sergio beat Justin Rose. So Rose is playing in another one today. Will he be able to pull it off or not? We'll find out.
When is this going to take place?
Now.
What, like, do they play one hole? Or
No, it's sudden death.
Sudden death.
what is it like?
They
Explain
play
that.
one hole.
I know what that means, but to those that don't.
Here at the Masters, I believe they play the 18th hole over and over until there's a winner.
Oh, wow.
I think that's each major has kind of a different format. Some of them have a 3-hole. Some, you start. I don't know if there's a full 9 holes, but here at this one, it's sudden death. So you just play one hole until there's a victor.
But what makes it special is at the Masters is after the first hole on sudden death that is still tied. After that, for every succeeding hole, you have to wear another piece of a suit of armor, and so until eventually, like you're fully armed, you're swinging the club is fully armored up. I think that'd be entertaining.
Maybe.
Feel good about that. You know, the other thing that I noticed that was in the news that would warm the cockles of your heart. I never thought I would see the day Mississippi State's baseball coach getting booed at Dudley's Noble Field. Getting booed.
Duty Noble. I mean, I'm going to stand up and help the state people out here.
Getting booed at home. Mississippi State, I mean, the guy just won a national championship, 4 years ago?
In 2021.
Yeah, 4 years ago.
Years ago.
And this is a not just a program, but a
fair,
institution that's
won,
never won a championship in anything.
He did win it with someone else's team.
But he won.
Granted, he did. But those players were not players that he brought in or players that he really developed. Those players were brought in by a prior coach. Essentially he took over the reins for a really good baseball team and program. And by all accounts, he's of course they won the series from Alabama this weekend. Alabama, who's ranked, I think, 12th. State I don't think they had won a series until this weekend and beat Alabama at Alabama, by the way.
Another thing that goes completely off of what we've talked about. Can we talk about your accomplishment on Friday, or is that off the books?
What did I accomplish Friday?
You had a 4-year.
Sure. Yeah,
really proud of that.
Thanks.
It turned into at my house. It turned into the eternal conversation.
Talking about Danny?
Yeah, not talking about Danny, but if getting a 4-year chip, and that turned into a conversation on our little group message about this.
Our group
This
message.
is the year when there's a terrible chance that you're going to say, you know what, I got this beat, I got this licked, I'm not going to have a problem, I'm over it. And I will say, when I was first dating Bonnie, this was the concept that I could not get my head around, because I said, I get it that your first year or two, you're kind of standing like at the top of a well, not at the top, but it's like there's a 50-story building, and you've walked out of the window and you're standing on the ledge, and you're this close to just falling 50 stories. And for the first 2 years, you're just hugging that building and praying,
Good analogy.
Please don't let me fall. But I was like, at some point, you get to slide back through the window and be back in the hotel room and take the elevator down, and you get to be like the rest of us, and you got it beat and you got it licked. And she said, no, you're always on the ledge. And I said, I don't know how you exist like that.
I use a phrase in recovery that essentially that the longer you stay sober, the more narrow the road becomes, in the sense that it's easier to step off the side of the road into the ditch because you have a false sense of security if you get away from the very things that have allowed you to maintain your sobriety and your recovery, primarily your relationship with God, and 2, carrying the message to other alcoholics. And really, 2, you can't have 1 without 2 and be sober. You have to be able to carry the message. And if you don't, you're consumed with self-centeredness, which is the root of the addict's problem. And next thing you know, they're running the show. They're the director, they're the producer, they're the actor.
That's hard for me to accept. You've been sober for how long?
37 years.
You got it licked. I mean, come on. 37 years, Sean.
I've seen people with 30-plus years come in and pick up chips.
Yeah.
24-hour chips.
What?
No.
Yeah. Happens all the time.
Not all the time.
It happens a lot.
It does happen because people believe that they don't need AA anymore. Now, when you say AA, what does that mean? Well, okay, when you first getting sober, this is AA 101, real quick. It's not going to be long. I mean, essentially, you need to pray to God every day to keep you sober. You need to go to a meeting at some point. You need to talk to your sponsor at some point. You need to have friends that are in AA, and you put yourself into the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous, and you create an environment that helps you learn how to apply the principles of the program in your life, which are all spiritual principles, okay? And so when you essentially get sober and you've worked through the steps, the 12th step is continue to carry the message to other alcoholics.
Okay. But after 37 years, I mean, are you really got anything else that you got to learn?
I'm not learning.
Bring you back into addiction so that you can start all over again.
I'm not
just
learning
saying,
necessarily, how to stay sober still. But what I'm doing is I'm maintaining my sobriety by continuing to live a spiritual way of life, which is born out of service to others. Okay. And that, to me, that's really when the AA program came into, into being, if you will, because Bill Wilson had followed other temperance movements, and, there were all these other religious movements. How are you going to stay sober? He had been to the doctors, he had been to the sanitariums, and nothing ever seemed to work until he was sitting in a bar one day and he was thinking about drinking. He was thinking, you know what? I bet if I had some, liquor with milk, that it wouldn't affect me.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Right. And so he was like, I can't do this again. And he had countless relapses and failures. And so Bill has this, it hits him out of nowhere. He goes and he finds a number to a church. He contacts this church. He says, is there a drunk out there that I can come talk to? And so they put him in touch with this guy named Dr. Bob, who was a physician in Akron, Ohio. And he goes and he meets with Bob. And Bob and Bill have this, extremely in-depth, personal meeting where it's not Bill telling Bob, you're going to die if you don't quit drinking. Bill went there and talked about his life and how he drank and how alcohol affected him. And Bob was like, why aren't you telling me what I need to do? And essentially the program was created there because God you have to have God, but you also have to have this service to others in Alcoholics Anonymous. That's really the glue that helps it all come together. And if you give that up, then you really get back into being into self. And self and self-centeredness is really the heart of the problem for the alcoholic. Because people think, I know I'm going on too long, I'll make this short. People think that, alcoholism is just about being physically addicted. That is far from that. It's the mental obsession coupled with the physical addiction is really what addiction is all about. And that mental obsession can't be dealt with from simply being removed from alcohol. You have to have a spiritual relief from that, and that comes through working with others, if that makes sense. What do you think? How did it do, Danny?
Good.
Thanks for the input, Danny. Well, congratulations on hitting 4 years.
Thank
That's
you.
Very
that's
proud.
no joke. I'm
Danny,
happy about
but
that.
he can't take his foot off the gas pedal. Is essentially he's got to continue to do the deal, and Danny does the deal, and that's why.
I like the deal. That's
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like my life, the way that my life was before I got sober was like none of this would have ever been here. You would never talk to me. I guarantee you that.
Right.
You would never talk to me. I assure you of that. But sobriety has given me a pretty awesome life and an opportunity to do some crazy shit. And, why would I want to throw that away for a little bit of a drink or whatever? So I do what I did when I first got sober.
But then again, Dave, I mean, you're an individual who you can order a cocktail and drink half of it, leave it on the table
Like a fucking maniac.
and walk away.
Right.
And I mean, I loved the Davids of the world when I was in a restaurant before I got sober, because when they would leave, I would go by their table.
Would you really?
Hell yeah.
I did also, absolutely. Especially at bar mitzvahs. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
That's where I got
Yeah.
my first jam. Yeah.
Free alcohol just left, sitting there
Absolutely.
on the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. 100%, especially for someone, I mean, of course I got sober at, just shy of 20. So, I mean, no money. I still even wasn't 21 yet. Now I was legal to drink beer at one point before they changed it to 21. But, no, I would always drink people's leftover drinks.
Well, congratulations on hitting the 4-year spot.
Thank you.
Keep passing people on the right. That's needs to be the motto of the show. Pass them on the right. As a continuing public education and service to the men that listen to the show, we still have more guides, more checkpoints for men who want to live the manly life, who don't want to care too much about their appearance, which is a distinctly unmanly characteristic. But I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to plow that field again.
I'm not going to go back there.
I've already proved it comprehensively. Number one, crying during a movie. Don't do that. That's not a manly thing.
Have you ever done it?
And that's not allowed. I've done it a lot.
I disagree.
It's
a
not
good
a
movie that can move you.
It's not a manly thing.
I call
though.
bullshit.
And
I call
I'm
bullshit.
like,
Well, the older you
being
get,
a
the easier it
chick now.
is to do that.
I've always been this way. It's like when Old Yeller died, or when I was watching Where the Red Fern Grows.
Speaking of Old Yeller,
God.
so the twins, okay, they go to watch Old Yeller for the very first time.
Now, how long ago are we talking?
I mean, the twins are 13, so I mean, this was
Recently. Okay.
yeah, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Okay.
Guess what Sarah does?
Just starts crying like a baby.
No,
What?
she spoiled the ending.
What?
Yes. And I was like, why in the world would you tell them what happens? And she's like, because I knew it would break their heart. And I'm like,
that's the point of the movie.
That's
is
the
to
point.
Hurt you.
The point of the movie. It is a rite of passage
Just
of
to get
a
hurt on
child
that
in
movie.
America
Oh,
is to
it
watch
is.
Old Yeller and cry at the end. Yes, 100%. She stole that from them. She stole that part of their youth.
I'm not
If they
saying
turn out to be alcoholics and addicts, that's
Yeah.
why.
It's going to be Old Yeller.
That's the
I'm
first
going to
thing
tell
they'll tell
Sarah,
you,
it's Old Yeller.
Number 2, ordering a salad as your main course.
Who just landed on the green? Who was that?
That was Rose.
That was Rose. Okay.
Ordering your salad as a main course. I'm not saying I hadn't done it. It's not a manly thing to do.
What if you get protein on there?
I hate that word. I'm so sick of people talking. It's not protein, damn it. It's meat.
Okay,
You
well,
want
whatever.
meat? Do you want fish? And don't say, would you like some meat on your salad? Because that just sounds gross. Do you want chicken? Do you want shrimp? Would you like something on your salad? This protein is just, would you
Okay.
like some
All right,
carbohydrates?
So you have an issue with
Would you like some monos?
you have an issue with the term protein.
You're just closed-minded,
Dave's such
Dave.
a hater.
Yeah, he's closed-minded.
I am a
That's what he
hater.
is.
Haters are going to hate. So if you order the salad with salmon or shrimp, do you lose your man card? I don't think you do.
It's not a great look.
I don't think you do.
It's not a great look. Being afraid of spiders and lizards
Oh my
and
God.
snakes, not a manly thing.
I'm
Look
not
at this.
afraid of spiders.
Look at this, guys.
I mean, I'm not afraid of snakes. I don't like spiders, but you know what I'm petrified of?
Let's have it.
Roaches.
oh,
Yeah.
immediate.
When I
man
was
card
like
removal.
5 years old, I was not afraid of roaches, and there was a big roach on the wall, and it was too high for me to get to, and so I took a pair of socks and balled them up, okay, and I just I reared back like a pitcher, threw that sock up against the wall. I was going to hit it so it could come down. I'd stomp on it, right, and kill it.
Okay.
So I had no idea that roaches could fly. Zero.
It's not a great time.
Now-
when the roach starts flying,
So
that's bad times.
So not only did I miss the roach, But he decided to fly, and he flew straight at me,
Of course.
landed on me,
Yep.
and I went running down the hall, screaming bloody murder. I mean, mom and dad were like, "What? What?" You know, they thought I literally had died.
Yeah.
And I mean, I felt like I had the roach on me. I mean, I can even talking about it. I go back to that memory of just like, ugh. And so, yeah, still to this day, I'm like, if I see a
That's
roach,
fair.
I will stomp the ever living shit out of one.
Yeah,
I hate them.
Yeah, I don't know about being scared of a roach, but I know a lot about hating them with a passion. So I'm with you on that.
Okay.
Using LOL and emojis in texts.
Sometimes I use
Don't do
LOL
it. Don't
just
do
to
it.
irritate the person.
That's
Lowercase LOL
yeah,
or capitalized?
Lowercase.
Yeah.
I mean, anything uppercase. If you type uppercase in messages, that means that you are not entitled to a phone.
That's the
Unless, of course, you're intentionally trying to be angry, right? I mean, that's what it's supposed to mean.
letting your dog wear a sweater.
Never.
No, you can't.
Oh, come
can't
on.
do it, Danny.
It's fun. It's fun.
Well, now,
Taking-
you and I have big dogs, but I mean, you know.
No, well, that's what I'm talking about. The little yip yap dogs, and
No.
putting and you putting a sweater on that dog, a sweater that matches your sweater. Don't do it, boys. Taking more selfies than the woman you're with.
Yeah, absolutely. Immediate removal.
Can't have that.
No,
Yeah.
no. I agree completely.
Getting another man to help you put together the IKEA furniture or
First
some
of all,
little project
that's
like
a
that.
big no-no.
You can't do that.
You know, you have to do it
You
yourself.
do it yourself, and you're going to do it
Okay,
wrong.
so
but you
what do
have
we
to
have here?
accept it.
So
Let's
this
set
is
this up.
This is Rose right now, and
Rory is closer.
yes,
How much closer?
fairly reasonable.
I mean,
a fairly decent amount.
You know, Rory ought to look at what Justin is doing here. You see how Justin he's looking at the shot from every single angle. If Rory had done that on his final putt
look at that
or his
putt though.
penultimate putt,
What's the thing that
There's no way
like
he's
they
gonna
all
make
carry
this.
around a bottle cap in their pocket or
Yeah,
something?
no,
that's his
and-
glove.
Yeah,
No, they'll pick the ball up, put a bottle cap down, and then
Not
put
a
the ball
bottle
right
cap.
It's a
back.
marker.
It's
a marker.
Well, yeah, I don't understand the point of that.
You can put it down, you can pick it up,
What's the point
and
of
you
that?
can set the ball back the right way. And most of them will draw a little line on there, which you're entitled to do.
To do what? What are we
Help your aim.
accomplishing?
So you want the line showing where you're aiming. So if you're aiming to the left, you would have the line slightly to the left
You
of the
don't
hole.
know. You don't know where you're aiming already.
he's not going to make this.
All right, Justin Rose
I don't like his
20
putt style.
footer.
No, missed it right.
going straight, breaks to the right.
Oh,
All right, so
That's why his wife is leaving him right now. She's calling the neighbor
So-
over to help fix some plumbing at the
Rory
house.
is coming up, and he has one.
And he just put a
putt
bottle
to win
cap
it.
down. And now he's jacking around with the grass between the bottle cap.
You
and
obviously
and
don't play golf.
We've already had that conversation 50 minutes ago.
I'm just kidding.
Yes, I
Here we
mean
go,
it's
ladies and
just
gentlemen.
what are all you talking about?
here we go.
And now
All right,
more,
now you
more
gotta
guys
get to
standing
Nance's
around.
soft voice.
And now he's one
His
foot
whole
away.
entire life
If he
Nance.
screws
Come to this moment.
up,
Oh, he
his
better be
wife is
quiet.
out the door.
I don't want him.
And
he's
he
singing.
drains a 9-inch punt. Big deal.
All right.
Everybody in
all
this
right.
room could have
so
done
now,
it.
if we were listening to Jim Nance, he would be telling us how Rory is going to
just
have an
amazing.
opportunity to,
Right,
you know,
to win the-
essentially make up for his disastrous moment, and he can
Yeah,
have
and then
his
they
final one shining moment.
Yeah, and then
Look
they
at
turn the
this.
music on like they're signing the Declaration of Independence or something. Like this is the most historic, like the whole world's history is going to turn on whether this guy can drain a 1-foot putt
To get here,
for the career.
All right, here we
Grand
go.
all
Slam.
this history.
He's 14 inches away.
He got it.
Okay, so there it is.
He won.
Has his masterpiece.
Yay.
I'm happy for him. See, look, he's crying.
Yeah,
Does he lose his man
he's
card?
crying. He loses his man card because he's crying like a chick. They need to let some roaches out on him to give him a chance to be a little more manly. Oh, he's just so
Well, I
whatever.
mean-
No, this what they should, as I've said during the NCAA tournament, don't show him, show Rose. Show Rose sitting there going, God
they're going to,
almighty,
they're
I was
going to.
right there.
So
And I
Rose,
blew
the
it.
poor guy, has now
Oh.
lost 2 sudden
Oh,
deaths.
and now he's got to hug it out like, I'm so happy for you.
I mean, Rose
blew
is
it
like
twice.
45, so he's
Yeah,
never
Rose
gonna
is
probably-
45?
He's
Never going to be back
he's
there.
never going to
Yeah.
have another opportunity.
He's
got all
older
the-
than that.
Yeah. So
Yeah. As a matter of
Wow.
fact, speaking of old, so Sydney, I was talking to her Friday, and she was like, by the way, do you know who this old guy is that's like been playing really good golf? And I go, if you say the
Don't.
name Freddie
do it.
Couples, I am
Yeah.
going to absolutely murder you.
yeah.
And she was like, yeah, Freddie Couples. I mean, he's been balling. Of course, he didn't make the cut, so she obviously jinxed him. But I was like, the fact that you're calling Freddie Couples old just makes me feel really old. I mean, he was my hero at one point because, one, he liked to play golf, smoke dope, and play video games. I mean, and at one point in my life, I mean, I pretty much aspired to do those 3 things.
I was at a seminar.
Is this his first Masters win?
Yes,
Wow.
first.
Yeah.
He had a colossal breakdown in 2011
I
on the
remember.
back 9.
I remember.
And did not win. He came in second in, I think, 2022. So
and
he's
now he's hugging this strange child that he's never seen before. It's all weird, but it's part of the Masters tradition is to
a
adopt
master's tradition.
to
like-
Like, how
adopt,
do you
to,
not-
to
like-
adopt
like
a
no
6-year-old
Look,
child.
like his whole career.
He's holding
like,
this child like no other, and the mother's going along with it because he's rich and
It's
famous.
a beautiful moment. It's a beautiful
All right, well, that's our show.
Wait, we're
Uh,
ending
it's-
early.
it's-
We still got time.
No, it's
So we had some other things on our topic
so
list that I
many
wanted
things
to
talk
discuss.
about.
Let's go through our topic list real quick. Come on.
Okay.
There were some great things on there.
All right.
You got 10 minutes because I got to pick up nukes.
Yeah, we didn't go through the whole man card list. Not knowing how to open the hood of your car, not a good look. Not knowing how to start your grill.
Well, we can
That's a
come back and
terrible thing.
Dabs won't be here next week, so we can come back and kind of have some more man casts. What else we got? What were some of the other subjects? We'll table the man stuff.
I was going to talk about all the stupid TV shows that are on that are driving me nuts. That play incessantly in my house.
Let's
but,
get into that a little bit.
all of the shows, the cooking shows, the travel shows, the true crime shows, the Real Housewife
The
shows,
romance
the
shows.
dating shows. What is this? What is going on in this culture that millions
Well,
are
now
sitting here and watching?
It's been
that?
going on now. How long? I have no idea, but I know it's been at least 20 years, if not longer, that Bachelor or Bachelorette or whatever
Yeah.
has
The
been.
Golden Bachelor, which I fell in love with you, and I didn't know that I was going to, but I've also fallen in love with these 6 other people, and we're not going to get married after the show's over, and I'm never going to see you again. But right now, I'm in love with you.
So when I was in, I have not watched these shows. My ex-wife used to watch them, and I've been divorced for 11 years now. She used to watch them, and they wouldn't let me in the room because all I would do is just
It's
talk
just-
so much shit.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So I was
Talking
basically
sense is what you were
I was
talking.
basically banned from watching them,
Yeah.
and thankfully Sarah doesn't watch them, so I have not had to watch them for a very long time. But when I was out in Austin a few weeks ago, Sydney, she loves a reality show, and she and her roommate were watching the most recent season of The Bachelor. Okay, and I, of course, was like mandated that I had to watch the season finale. Okay. And this was, and so we're there, and I'm asking all of the questions. Like, I mean, come on. How can you really,
Right.
how can you
What's
find
wrong
love?
with you? Yeah.
Well, so this jackass Bachelor, okay, he has now fallen in love. I'm putting that in air quotes.
Yeah, well, they always fall in love.
They've fallen in
A
love
lot.
with 2 people.
Sure.
Okay.
Only 2.
He has told one girl, I love you. We are marrying. Now, and then he tells the other girl,
Torn
I
between
love
two
you,
lovers.
and I'm marrying you. And of course, the audacity. I mean, that girl went to bed thinking that she was waking up the next day and getting engaged to.
Yeah.
I mean, what a joke. I mean, and then you go and you let ABC buy you this, 50,000 carat, diamond ring, which is ridiculous. And you're going to give it to this woman. Everything is so staged. I mean, I don't know.
Is the point of this that these shows are not real, Sean?
Oh, it's
is
just
that the
it's
point?
just
Is that
terrible.
the point that you're trying to make?
Anyway, so
They're not
he dumps this girl, right there, breaks her heart. I mean, like her heart's really broken. I mean, she should be thinking, and this is what I said to Sydney. I was like, I said, she should be thinking, I dodged a effing bullet on that one. I mean, because I'm not with that jackass.
She's thinking about how's this going to affect my OnlyFans subscription rate.
Hey,
Well,
That's what she's thinking.
Right,
about.
of course. And normally the loser immediately gets the Bachelorette for the next season.
There you go.
I mean, so it's one thing after the other.
So they're not real.
And now Jesse Palmer is the host. Did you know that? You remember Jesse Palmer?
At Florida
Quarterback?
remember
Yeah.
him.
So he's on there with his, like 3-day-old beard. I thought that look went away about 15 years ago.
No, that's still
It just went to full beard.
yeah.
Well, he's still wearing the
Stubble.
the
Don
stubble.
Johnson stubble.
Yes, he's still wearing the stubble, and he's on there, just so brokenhearted for her. He talks about like the way Jim Nance talks about golf. I mean, it's just horrible.
Can you? You need to be able to fake it. Like you got to be like Ryan Seacrest, acting like you care. Can you fake acting like you care? Because if you can, you got a future in these fake talent
Well,
shows.
Jesse Palmer has
are-
done it. I mean, those hosts make a lot of money.
Yeah, or like Andy Cohen on the Real Housewives. I've been subjected to many hours.
The gay
of
comedian?
yeah.
He does the Real Housewives.
Yes, he's the host of all the Real Housewives
Oh,
shows.
I didn't know
Oh, my
that. Do you know how many
God.
episodes of any Real Housewives I've watched?
Well, you've missed all of them.
I have never seen one.
Well, there's an infinity of them.
So, I mean, where's my man card?
Yeah.
I should have like
My ex.
I should have a big insurance flotilla of man cards because I've never watched that show.
My ex-wife jumped on the bandwagon crazy early. MTV had this reality show.
Don't
With-
you say shit about the Real World.
Yeah. Oh, it was so.
Danny, were you
stupid.
too old to watch the Real World? I love the Real World.
It was cringy at the time. I mean, I
Now,
hadn't seen an episode in 20
the fact
years,
that you're
but it
bitching
was
about the
cringy
fact
then.
that you're bitching about Real World tells me that you are exactly where you need to be in the baby boomer generation, because the Real
Don't
World
be
is
that.
Gen X all the way.
No.
100%.
No, it's the generation following Gen X.
No,
No.
it came on in the late 80s and early 90s. That's when it hit its peak. That's when the Gen Xers were all 18 to 30.
And could see right through how cringy and stupid it was.
Yeah, because all these people were doing the same stupid stuff they were
it
doing.
came on in the late 80s. I think that was a mid to late 90s.
If only we
show.
had no way, you're wrong
Yeah.
there. If only we
Okay,
have
look
a
it
little
up.
black box, we can look it
Yeah,
up.
look it up in the little black box. But that was a 90s show.
Real World
Yeah, it's a 90s show, Sean.
season.
Deal with it.
The
Yeah,
first season of the Real World was drum roll 1992.
Thank you. Dave knows.
You said mid to late 90s.
Oh, God damn it. You are such a liar.
We have tape. We have tape. Roll that tape. You said mid to late 90s. I said late 80s to early 90s. I was at least right.
The first episode in 92, the show ran in the mid to late 90s. God damn it.
Dave getting
You just
irritated.
can't be wrong, can you?
I want to hear what I'm so wrong about the Korean War.
That's a whole.
And with that,
Yeah, on
we'll
that bombshell.
see you next
We'll
week.
see you next week.